Good morning, Otter class, and today our LO in English is to show that I have understood the model text, which we refer to as reading as a reader. We've already done a reading as a reader for a previous text, so hopefully you'll recognise the sheet at the end of the lesson. First things first, though, you will need a copy of your model text, so the Cobbler of Cacao. If you don't have that, what I suggest is you pause it here, okay, and then find that text because we're going to be talking about it a lot throughout this lesson. Okay, then first things first, having a look at your text, I just want you to have a think about how is it different to our Rags to Riches tale, so that's our Cinderella that we did right in the beginning of September, and is there anything the same? Again, pause me now whilst you have a think of some ideas. You can jot them down if it helps you remember them, and then I will come back and explain some of the things that I thought were the same or that were different. So for similarities, hopefully you'll agree that both stories are fictional. Like most stories, they have a beginning, a middle, and an end, so there's some form of problem that has to be resolved in the end. In terms of differences, I think, well, this text that we're reading, The Cobbler of Cacao, is a defeating the monster text. So in our story, the main thing that happens is that there is a monster and he is defeated. Whereas in our Rags to Riches tale, somebody's misfortune or bad luck changes and they end up with a happy ending, as it were, where their rags go to riches. And that could be literally money-wise, or it could be in terms of their living situation or falling in love and things like that. We're going to be using lots of the same features in our defeating the monster story. Okay, so still like two-way sentences, a bit of speech and dialogue. So hopefully we'll recognise quite a few different things. First question that I'd like you to have a look through, it says, this is an understand it question, and it says find and copy the phrase which means lots of. So reading the section below, pause me, and then you may press play when you think you found the answer. Okay, then having a read through that, hopefully you will agree. It says find and copy the phrase, so you're getting it straight from the text, you're not making it up, and you should have hopefully had something along the lines of plentiful supply, or I would have given you if you had who were in plentiful supply. Next question is a find it question. We do these in Read Write Ink. And again, it says, what did Smock eat? So reading through the sentence, pause me now. What did Smock eat? Right then, hopefully you all spotted that he had eaten the villagers' cats and dogs. It literally says eaten in the text, which matches our question. And also I'd hope that you'd spot he had devoured their sheep and cows, and we spoke about the word devoured and that it means the same thing as eat. Next question, this time it's a summarised question, and it would like you to read the fourth paragraph and order the events from 1 to 5. Okay, so you have to work out which one happened first, okay, and the order it happened in. Now remember our story map that we've been practicing, and that should help you. Okay then, so hopefully you remember the first thing that happens is that Crack took out a leathery cow's skin. That was when he was outside Smock's lair. Next, a shiver shot up his spine because remember, then his heart raced and he asked, would I get out of this alive? After stuffing the skin with herbs and spices, he sewed the skin together, so that would be number 3. And then number 4, he threw the meal down into Smock's lair before muttering to himself, number 5, dinner time, my beauty. Question 5, this is a think about it question, so make sure you're reading it properly and make sure you're reading all of the text to support you. It says, what does this tell you about the king? Pompously and rudely, the king looked at the cobbler's ragged clothes, worn-out shoes, and dirty hands. What does this tell you about the king? Pause me here whilst you have a think of the answer, and then we'll go through it together. Okay then, hopefully you identified the two main words, which is pompously and rudely. Now these both end in ly, which hopefully you remember is an adverb. It describes how he's behaving, how he's doing something. Pompously and rudely, so if you told me that the king was something along the lines of that he was pompous or he was rude, perhaps you could say he was arrogant, full of himself, maybe a bit unkind, but something that along the lines of being overconfident, okay, maybe a bit boastful, but the key ideas were pompous and rude. Okay, we've got a few more to do together. I'm going to speed up a bit. Oh, this one's a lovely idea. I'd really like to have these sent in to me via picture. And it just asks, if there was a sequel, what do you think the cobbler would do next? So at the end of the story, okay, he's just married the princess, he's destroyed Smock. What do you think would happen in a second story? Pause it here, and if you'd like to write down your ideas, I'd like to read them, and then I might be able to share some good ideas in our next English lesson. Okay, then slide number 7 says, what atmosphere is, that's supposed to say author. Well done, Miss Beth. What atmosphere is the author trying to create? What toolkit have they used? So by toolkit, I mean what features have they used? So thinking about some of the things that we've used in our writing before. Outside Smock's den, Crack took out a leathery cow's skin. A shiver shot up his spine. His heart raced. Would he get out of this alive? So what atmosphere is the author trying to create? And what toolkit, what features has he used? Pause me here, and then I will go back through some suggestions that you might have. Okay then, so hopefully you've got something along the lines of he's used a fronted adverbial, so outside Smock's den, it tells you where he is. He's got some short sentences in there, so it says his heart raced, and he's got a rhetorical question. Would he get out of this alive? The atmosphere he's trying to create is something along the lines of something to do with a bit of suspense, maybe a bit of worry, okay, because we don't know what's going to happen. He's quite nervous because a shiver shot up his spine. His heart's racing, maybe because he's not sure what's going to happen. So the atmosphere is worried, suspenseful, okay, not sure what's going to happen next. Question 8, we're nearly done with the questions that we're going to be doing together. It says find 3 words that show how the princes feel. Now this is princes plural, so how do all of them feel, okay, when they come to defeat Smock? So key word there, 3 words, all right. Pause me here and then press play when you want to find out which 3 it is. All right, then hopefully, so let's just go back to the question. We go, find 3 words that show how the princes feel. I'm just going to read you the couple of sentences we've got. Frightened, terrified, exhausted, princes came to defeat Smock. Some fled as soon as they saw the dragon, others fought valiantly, but failed. The question says find 3 words. That means they have to have been used in the text. I wouldn't be able to give you the mark if you said if they were worried or scared, even though I think they probably were. I need the words that have been used. So I would need frightened, terrified, and exhausted. You would copy them straight from the text. You don't need to do any more than that. Right then, last question as a group before you go off and do your own work. So this time it is a compare it question. Okay, it says using the text, tick to show what information is true, okay, and what is false. It gives you 4 options, true and then false. Your options are: the king is happy that his daughter is going to be eaten, the dragon explodes, the cobbler defeats the dragon, or Smock burned the villagers' houses down. Some of them you might know off the top of your head if you can remember the story. Others it does say using the text. So if you're not sure, go back to the story and see what it says. Pause me now once you have a think of that, and we'll go over some answers in a little bit. So then, just going back to the question, using the text, tick to show what information is true and false. Number 1, the king is happy that his daughter is going to be eaten. Hopefully you've written false. If you remember, it says he was desperate to save his daughter, which is why he offered her hand in marriage to anyone who could rid the city of the monstrous beast. Number 2, the dragon explodes. That is true, and hopefully you remember the action we used in our story map to help us remember that. The cobbler defeats the dragon. Again, that is true. The type of text that we are reading is a defeating the monster tale, so I'd hope that we'd get that one correct. And then the last one, Smock burned the villagers' houses down. I say true, because if you ever think of at the beginning of the text where you could still see the smoke rising from the village that had been attacked by Smock, okay, whilst it didn't specifically say that the houses had been burnt down, Okay, I think it would be a sensible guess to assume that they had been from where the dragon had attacked them earlier. Now then, it is your turn to complete a task. So on the website, there is the document that is called Reading as a Reader, and it will look something like this. There are 3 choices of sheets. Okay, it's either a 1-star, 2-star, or a 3-star sheet. All right, we've done a Reading as a Reader before, and if you can remember, if you were a 1 or a 2-star or a 3-star, please do that sheet. If you're not sure, I'd like everyone to start on number 2, okay, a 2-star sheet. If you've done the first couple of questions and you find them too challenging or too easy, then you can move to a different sheet. Please remember to use the text to help you with your answers. Some of them you'll be able to write on the sheet if you're able to print it off. Others you will need to write next to them on a piece of paper because the answers are too long. Okay, then I'm going to leave you to that, and I will see you tomorrow for our next English lesson. Thank you, bye.